Hello and welcome to Nkuma's Online Academy. So today we have ecology and habitats. Ecology and habitats. Ecology is a branch of science that studies organisms and where they live and how they survive. That is what we call ecology. It is a course that some people study in the university. They go and study where organisms live, the organisms, and how they survive in their place. Like the organisms that live on land, the organisms that live in water, the organisms that live some other places. That is what we call ecology. And the scientist that studies this ecology is called ecologists. Ecologists. That is the scientist that studies where organisms live and why or how they live that place. The person is called an ecologist. Ecology is a branch of science that we call biology. There's a branch of science called biology, and ecology is part of the biology as a course. Now, habitats, the ecologists, one of the things that ecologists study is environment, which is habitats. So, habitat means the natural environment of an organism. The natural environment of an organism. Like man, although sometimes we go into water and swim, but that is not our natural environment. That is not where man naturally lives. Where we live and where we adapt well is on land. So man lives on land. If you put man inside water for years, the man will not survive there. So water is not a natural environment for a man, even though the man can visit water sometimes. The same thing with fish. Water is the natural environment for fish. Fish can survive in water for years, but once you bring it out of water, it cannot survive for a long time because land is not the natural environment for fish. The natural environment for the organism is where it can stay and survive for a very long time. So water is the natural environment for fish. So water is the habitat for fish, and land is our habitat. The habitat for man is land. Habitats, we have three types of habitats. We have land habitats, we have water habitats, and we have another one we call arboreal. Land habitats, water habitats, and the arboreal habitats. Land habitat is also called terrestrial habitats. Terrestrial habitats. That is land habitats. The environment on the land is called a terrestrial environment. So land habitat is also called terrestrial habitats. And organisms that live on land or terrestrial habitats, they are called terrestrial organisms. Therefore, man is a terrestrial organism because we live on land. Cow is a terrestrial organism. Goat is a terrestrial organism. Both animals and plants that live on land, they are all called terrestrial organisms. Organism comprises both plants and animals. So cashew nuts, mango tree, many of all these trees that grow on land, they are all called terrestrial organisms. Now, for habitats, water habitats are also called aquatic. Water habitat is also called aquatic habitats, and that is the environment within water. There are organisms that their natural environment is inside water, like fish, like hippopotamus, and there are also some plants, seaweeds, and sea animals. There are so many things that are plants, but they live inside water. So those organisms, all of them are called aquatic organisms. So whether they are plants or animals, they are all called aquatic organisms. Any organism that lives inside water is called an aquatic organism, while the environment within water is called an aquatic habitat or aquatic environment. And we now have the arboreal habitat. The arboreal habitat is a special habitat where some organisms, they live on top of a tree, like birds, parrots, different types of birds, parrots, vulture, and so many others. All of them live on top of a tree, or they stay mostly on top of a tree, flying and coming back to tree. They are called arboreal organisms. There are also plants that live on top of other plants. They are also called arboreal plants or arboreal. They are part of arboreal organisms. So habitat is very important because it helps us to know where we can find certain organisms. If you are looking for organisms that live in water, the study of habitat would have told you that these are the type of organisms that live in water. In studying habitats or ecology, we also get to know what makes organisms survive in different environments. Like, why do we survive on land? It is because we have legs, because we can walk. That's why we can survive on land. Animals that have land, most of them can survive on land. Then, for animals that live inside water, why do they survive in water? Because they can swim, they have fins. Most of them have fins and wings that help them to swim in water. So these are the things that ecologists study: where organisms live and how they live there, what makes them to live there, how do they adapt to the environment. This is very, very important area of study. So that is what we have in ecology and habitats. So you should be able to talk about the meaning of ecology, the meaning of ecologists, the type of habitats, different types of habitats, the name of the organisms that live in each type of habitats, and examples of organisms that live in different types of habitats. These are the things that are required of you to know in ecology and habitats. And I believe the lesson is clear.